Hello everybody and guys, welcome back to another video. We are going to be ranking some more albums. That's right, we have a third album ranking. And today we're going to be doing Blink-182. As you all know, I will be going through these from from the first album to the most recent album. Not this will be Sum 41, but we gotta wait for them to release Heaven and Hell, and I gotta listen to Heaven and Hell before I rank those albums. So I decided to do Blink 182 right now. I also did Youth Fountain, but Youth Fountain has the albums, and basically they're all S tier so far. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Two of them are S tier, one of them's A tier. You know, I had a new order, but we're here on Blink 182's discography, the albums. So we're gonna start with the first one, Cheshire Cat. Now, when it comes to Cheshire Cat, it it's a good. I think it might be one of the weaker albums. Um, like it has good songs. It has Toasted Bananas. It has Wasting Time. It has Eminem's Carousel. Um, you know, sometimes it has all these songs on it. Does My Breath Smell? It has these really good songs, but I think when it comes down to it, there's no variety in how the songs sound. To me, all the songs kind of sound the same, and this is a problem that I feel with a lot of Blink-182 songs, from Cheshire Cat to Dude Ranch. And even a little bit of Enema of the State, but you know, I feel that there's no variations. If you watch the Ernie Ball Pursuit of Tone documentary with Tom DeLonge, you understand where it was coming from. Back then, during Cheshire Cat's inception, his idea was, just play as fast as you can, get it all out. And I think you really tell this with this album, that was the style that they were kind of going for, you know. And to me, like, they're all great songs. It's just, you know, it's the same kind of sound, kind of style. It's hard to differentiate the songs unless you're one of those OG hardcore, OG, Blink-182 fans. Don't crucify me, because I know y'all love the early Blink-182 stuff, everything before Enema of the State. But to me, at least, Cheshire Cat, I have to give it a D. There's just no variation in the sound to me, at least. The way I feel, there's no variation in the sound. Now, next up is Dude Ranch, and this has my favorite Blink-182 song of all time, probably my second favorite song of all time, which is "Damn It." And I think the same thing applies to what I was saying with, you know, um, Cheshire Cat, is that the drums sound the same. It's the same, almost kind of like beat, throughout most of the songs. It's just that the variations of the same beat, at least in my opinion, which elevates it above Cheshire Cat because it is them going, as Damn It says, this is them going up. I mean, they're finding the sound. They're finding, ways to improve, to take their sound and improve on it, And I think when it comes down to it, Dude Ranch is just a better album than Cheshire Cat, but it's not a top tier album though, because again, the songs, like, besides them, you have Josie, you have Apple Shampoo, Emo, you have I'm Sorry, you have I think it's Untitled in this album. The song Untitled is on this album too. Untitled song. They all to me sound the same, and you know you have songs like A New Hope too. This all sound the same. Like, they're not similar in the sound that they sound the same, but but they're similar in a way to where well, like well, I mean, they did. I mean, they sound the same. I'm not gonna say. I guess that's not a good way to put it. Just saying that they don't sound the same. They sound the same, but they have different variations to the same sound though. The variations of the same sound, just in different variations. So I think that Elvis above Cheshire Cat, but I don't think it's so much say better than Cheshire. Like I wouldn't say it's it, it's one of the better albums. So like I said, Damn It is a really good song. I love Damn It. Okay, probably my second favorite song of all time, behind the River by Good Charlotte. But the one song, unfortunately, you know, isn't gonna hold this album higher than say some of the other albums they put out. Now we get on to Enema of the State, and when it comes down to Enema of the State, is a decent, good album. But again, and you can actually tell the songs apart. There's Aliens Exist. There's Mutt. There's All the Small Things. Going Away to College. Don't Leave Me. Adam's Song. All these songs. Wendy Clear. All these songs. They're different enough. From each other, that I feel that it deserves far above these previous two, the first two albums. I think it's a great innovation, and again, you listen to Pursuit Tone documentary. Well, not even that, but you listen to the MTV, when they were after making this album, between this album and Take Up Project. If you remember that, when they talked about the MTV interview, I think it was that one. But it's one of the things with Tom DeLonge. He talks about how Travis would, really took over here, and basically he would create the drum lines, and then that Tom and Mark would then create the riffs, and chords based off how Travis would play. And I think Travis was a really big help, further cementing Blink-182's creativity and actually improving Blink-182's creativity past what Scott Raynor did. Because again, like I said, Scott Raynor, the way he played it, every song kind of sounded the same and very similar. Even when they did this, even in Dude Ranch, where I said that they had different variations, it was different variations of the same beat, because Scott Raynor played basically almost the same beat, at least in my opinion. And I think Enema State really changed that because of Travis Barker. So I think songs like, again, I Exist, Adam's Song, Going Away to College, these songs hold this album up. Songs like All the Small Things, I've never been a personal fan of. I know it's a pop cultural thing, but it's not a very. I'm not like to me, it's not a very impactful song to me. Like when I go to this album, I skipped All the Small Things. I skipped Mutt, but I banged the Dysentery Gary, Aliens Exist, Go Away College. I love these songs. So, unfortunately, it's not a no skip album to me. So, unfortunately, I have to give it a B. I think it's a B. And I'm going to get crucified by the Blink-182 lovers out there. But Enema State is a B. Next up, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. This album, I think, it was my favorite back in high school, and I still kind of think it is my favorite, actually. And I know a lot of people will say, it sounds like Dog Show and First Date, which are really the only two like pop punk songs, like single songs, and ones that sound a little immature. Maybe a little bit of online songs. But if you actually listen to the other songs, you can kind of see where the inspiration for Boxcar Racers and the Untitled album came from. And I say this because listen to songs, like Please Take Me Home, Stay Together for the Kids, Give Me a Reason, Roller Coaster. These songs are like the pop punk version, you know, you know, what I mean, the punk rock version of what Untitled and Boxcar Racer were kind of going for. Because Boxcar Racer was more of a post-hardcore kind of project by Tom DeLonge, and again, you know, Untitled or self-titled was kind of following the trends of the time, which was like the more like let's go like a more emo route for the around 2004. But I think Take Off Your Prince Jacket was a really good album, and if you listen to it, I think and again listen to Please Take Me Home, Roller Coaster, you know, give me a reason, listen to these songs and think about what I said here. That those songs are kind of like Stay for Kids. That these songs are kind of like catalysts into what Boxcar Racer and the Untitled Self-Titled album, which eventually became. I think if you ignore the more like corny songs like First Date, Shut Up, you know, and even Reckless. Well, I would say Reckless, but actually Reckless Bison was kind of a thing. It's more pop punk, and same with Shut Up, like yeah, at the surface they may seem unserious, but actually listen to them, like listen to them, and I think you'll see that at least lyrically, they could be on par with like Untitled, self-titled, Boxcar Racer. But it sounds like The Rock Show and um, you know, First Date. If you take those out of the album and just keep the songs, because basically First Date and Rock Show would be on the album, but we all know the story. The record label said we need singles, and they created 2 singles from that. But if you take but particularly out of like those 2 songs don't exist, and you can kind of see where you know the future of Blink-182 is going. And I think because of that, this gets an S tier for me. Next up is Untitled. This album is awesome. And not just because of the pop culture surrounding I Miss You with the Where Are You and the I'm So Sorry and You're the Voice Inside My Head, It's not just that, it's every song it's also all the other songs, Feeling This, Go, Down, here's your letter, all of this. Um um you know all these songs, and like almost every song besides all this Easy Target, I'm not a big fan actually of all of this, the one with Robert Smith. I'm not a big fan of it actually. I think it's for what the album was going for. I think it's a little too slow, you know, like this album, like has a good pace to it, and then it hits that song because we have people as Easy Target, and it's a fast song, and then it hits this song, and it kind of takes like I'm not saying slow songs are bad, like, but I feel like the slow song here, you know, like the way it's structured, you have Easy Target, and then you have this song, and then you have and then you have what I mean, and it kind of ends. I think Alice is the last one on the album. Don't quote me on this, but I think it is. Um, it sounds like Stockholm Syndrome, Violence, the beautifully masterly crafted songs like Violence, it starts with no drums, just a tempo, and vocals, some synthesizers, and then it boom hits you right. It goes right into it goes right into like this really powerful guitar, bass, and drum, and it goes back down, what I mean, and it goes back up, and I think that's really cool. Stockholm Syndrome, it starts off with yelling and screaming, and it kind of mellows out, what I mean, with with like the the middle of the song, and then jumps back in that high action, kind of song. Go is a wonderful song. You have the drums, the guitar, the bass are going until you hit the you know the, that one point, like, towards the end, which is everything, goes silent, and all you hear is Tom's voice saying, sorry, not Tom's, but Mark's voice saying, "I don't want to go, I don't want to go," you know, and then just Tom and Mark's going back and forth with Tom saying "Go, go, go," and Mark singing. I think this album is very well crafted. And you look at people like Anton Willard, from who's now part of the Alkaline Trio, but has worked with Tom. He said if they never released this album, he probably never worked with Tom with Angels and Airwaves. And I think it's basically a no skip album. There's only really one song that I would skip, but you all might. But then again, just because it's one song, skipping, that doesn't, I'm not saying you won't like it. I mean, but to me, it's not a non-skip album, but it's basically a non-skip album with just one song that I would skip. And that's why I have to give this an S tier. Neighborhoods is up next, and a lot of people didn't like this album when it came out, but I think songs like Up All Night, Kaleidoscope, Snake Charm was a really good song. Snake Charm was one of my top 3 Blink-182 songs, and I think this album was really it was an experiment, I would say. More than say 9 was. Like, when we'll get to 9 in a second, but it's Tom took the inspiration from Angels and Airwaves, and Mark brought the inspiration from, I think, Plus 44 in this one, and really put together an album that kind of melded the two together, like Up All Night's something that I would expect from like Plus 44. Snake Charmer is something I would expect from Angel and Airwaves. Kaleidoscope is kind of like a mix of both. Hearts Are Gone, something I would expect from, again, Plus 44. Um, you know, After Midnight, Goes on the Dance Floor, Wishing Well. Those are songs I expect, like, from Angels and Airwaves. I think this album is kind of like Plus 44 meets Angel and Airwaves and combines to create this kind of like space age kind of like pop punk, kind of sound. I think it really worked out for them. Like I said, he has songs like Snake Charmer, Kaleidoscope, Up All Night, Gusto Dance Floor, Wishing Well, Even If She Falls. These songs are all good, and I think again it's basically a no skip album. I mean, I might skip like I don't know, that MH40 song or whatever it's called, but even then, I've listened to a song. I've enjoyed that song. Love is Dangerous. This Is Home. They're all great songs on this album, and I think this album really, did well. And I have to give this album probably an S tier. Up next is California, and boy, oh boy. We're not including Dogs Eating Dogs because that was an EP, but if I had to rank Dogs Eating Dogs, that would be an A. But we're not ranking that. With the studio albums. I know I did the EP for Simple Plan, but that's because that is basically a full-fledged album versus, say, like, Good Shots, Last December, which is a single, and Dogs Eating Dogs, which is literally an EP. There's not enough content on that album, else in my opinion, to warrant it being put on this list. But anyway, getting back on topic with California. This was in my personal opinion, I'm ranking California both Standard Edition and Deluxe version. California, in itself, taking into account the Deluxe version, with those extra songs, California is a step backwards. Not a huge step because of that Deluxe version with those latter half songs in the Deluxe version, but compared to, say, like what they did with, Untitled, what they did with um, neighborhoods. California just plays it. It plays it too safe. And again, I'm not, and this isn't judging Max Skiba saying, "Oh, this is Max's fault." It's not. It's really not. This is something that I think was happening in 2016. These bands hadn't put out albums since 2010, 2011 time. Good Charlotte, Simple Plan. I feel like the album, and they did it too. They came back. But I feel these albums in 2016, these pop punk albums from the classic guard, Sum 41, Blink-182, Good Charlotte, Simple Plan, Green Day, they played them a little too safe. Good Charlotte, I think was, to me, I think they had some good songs, like, Makeshift Love. They had Life Changes, I don't think I said this in my Good Charlotte video, but some of the best songs, on the album, they played it a little safe. But not too much because there's songs like Outfield and all that. But this is about Blink-182, and even Sum 41. Sum 41 did not Sum 41, but Simple Plan is the other one I made. Like I said, Nostalgia and Opinion Overload were pretty good songs. And I feel like they played it safe. Here though, I feel like almost every song that's not the deluxe played it safe. And that's what I think really brings this album down, is that besides the lot half songs like 6-8, Parking Lot, Last Train Home, Hey I'm Sorry, You Don't Mean Anything, Long Lost Friend, those songs hold this album up. Because it really feels like Matt and Mark, especially Matt, were able to create songs that they wanted to create. While the first half of the album was songs like Bored to Death, Cynical, Teenage Satellite, Left Alone, No Future. These songs, they're diverse enough where they don't feel like Cheshire Cat, or they don't feel like Dude Ranch, and they don't feel sound the same, but they don't do anything dramatic. I think the best song off of the main set of songs, not the deluxe songs, but the main set of songs, is probably San Diego. And that's because I feel that song, they actually got to write that song and play that song from the heart, while the other ones, I feel, they were just told, this is what's going to bring back the pop punk sound, and I feel, I like Bored to Death. It's a good song, yes, I don't skip it, but, compared to, like, San Diego, I think it's like, so Bored to Death is probably the second best song, but, like, every other, song, like, She's Out of Her Mind, Sober, they just don't, they don't have that oomph, that, like, some of the other songs have a sound for, and I think when it comes down to it, I gotta give this a C. Now comes the 4-9, which I hate to say this, but I like 9. I think it's a no-skip album. Now, is it, I listen to it, do songs like Hung Over You and Black Rain, do they sound kind of repetitive? Yes, they do. But I was just recently listening to the album like the other night, and I think songs like Pin the Grenade, Heaven, No Heart to Speak Of, Remember to Forget Me, these songs are absolutely great, and I think they make a case here where I think this is an album that does not leave you wanting more. Even though in the bonus track, Out of My Head was really good. I love it. I wish they would release it on Spotify, but they didn't. But I love it, and honestly, the album itself, You know, it sounded great. I think the weakest song in here is probably "Blame It on My Youth." And even then, I didn't mind the sound. I really liked the sound actually of "Blame It on My Youth" when it first came out. I still kind of do. It fits into where it fits in the album. But songs like "Heaven," you know, you know, "Happy Days," these songs, you know, really resonate. With kind of like kind of nostalgia, I guess now, because after the whole pandemic thing, this album came out before the pandemic, you know. But I feel like this album is gonna be forgotten. It's not like Neighborhoods. It's not like, you know, um, you know, Untitled or Take Off Your Jacket. Like, I think it's one of the best albums actually. Like probably, like one of the top like three albums. But if we're gonna factor in, longevity and memorable and being memorable, I don't. I actually sometimes forget myself, and I love this album. I forget that this album was Blink-182. Like it's like I forget that Blink-182 released this album, so for that I gotta give it an A. But I think it's a really good album. If I thought it would be memorable, it would get an S tier. And like I said, I think it's top. It's top. Blink-182 with these guys up here. I would put it in the S tier. You know, but actually, you know what? I'm gonna move it to S tier. Actually, yeah, S tier. I think it's S tier. I really do. So yeah, I'm changing my mind. I'm putting it in S tier. Next up is One More Time, the most recent album released by Blink-182. And this album, the hype behind this album with Edging, One More Time, More Than More Than You Know. Oh, no, I said More Than You Know. You don't, oh yeah, you don't know what you got, that's the song I was thinking of. Fell in Love. These songs, no, Dance With Me too. The hype building up this album was great. Did it live up to the hype? Yes and no. I thought we were gonna get like an album, like I was hyped for it, and yes, it lived up to the hype, of being probably one of the best albums they ever released. But did it live up to the hype of of what we wanted Blink-182 to sound like? In my perspective, I don't think so. I was expecting songs like Turn This Off, Fuck Face, to be actually like full songs, not like joke songs. Like this is the first time in I think Blink-182 history where we got. I mean, maybe not. Like I said, I don't really like those. I'm not. I don't remember, but at least to my recollection, listen to Blink-182 years, I've never, I never, at least have encountered a case of two short joke songs being on the same album. Because California Can't Get You More Pregnant, and and then and on 9 it was Generational Divide, a very short, couple second song. We have two on this album that I think detract from the album, and I think which they're great songs, don't get me wrong, but I think having two of them, I think Fuckface or Turn This Off, one of them should have been only a few seconds like a joke song, and the other one should have been a full-fledged song, um but songs like When We Were Young, again, More Than You Know, See You, Cut Me Off, these songs, a god, a god tier, and I love them. Turpentine, you know, the Boxcar Racer song, Terrible. That's the song, Terrible. The great songs. You could really tell the Boxcar Racer influence on Terrible too. And Anthem Part 3 is a great, funny, not funny, but yeah, funny and fun, kind of like conclusion to a trilogy of the Anthem songs by them. And I think I didn't talk about Anthem, the first one on Anthem Part 2 either, but I'm talking about it now because I'm talking about the trilogy. But I think you look at these songs on here, and again, this is something I brought up in my other videos with Good Charlotte and with Simple Plan, is that I feel that the album left me wanting more, and I know, and then it came out, and then they added See You and Cut Me Off, and I felt a little satisfied there actually that we got more from the album actually. So I feel like I'm satisfied with the album, but the feeling wanting more has come back. And it's not because they didn't add more songs, because they did. It's that songs like it's because we have two joke songs, Turn This Off and Fuckface, and I think we need. I think just having one joke song and turning the other one into a full-fledged song, preferably having Fuckface be the shorter song, the few second joke song, and Turn This Off, be the actual full-length song, I think I would be more satisfied with this album, and I want to give it an S, I really do, but against my better judgment, I have to give this an A tier, because songs like Dance With Me, they didn't, how do I say this? Songs like songs like Dance With Me, they weren't what I was expecting from the song. Like, I like the song, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. I'm not sure what I was really expecting, or how to describe what I was expecting from songs like Dance With Me, or Turpentine, or Turn This Off, or even, I'm Terrible, you know what I mean? But they didn't have that, like, oh, this is what I expected from these songs, Like, I had this idea in my mind of what I thought they were gonna sound like, and it didn't really live up to it, But that's it for the Blink-182 album tier list. Like I said, next time will be Sum 41, and we will do that once they release the new album, Heaven and Hell, and I give it a listen, because I will be listening to it, because I love Sum 41 too. But yeah, these have been the album tier list so far. I hope you all have enjoying these. Again, this is my personal opinions. You can say I'm valid or invalid. It doesn't matter. But these are what I think of. This is how I would rank my Blink-182 albums. Which is basically it. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. This is basically an order of how I would rank them. So, yeah. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.